for 20 years, and I was recently working a case that involved Joey. Names have been changed to protect the idiots. I first saw Joey when he was sitting in a hospital bed. Let me give you a visual. He's in a hospital bed. He's got an IV in. He's talking. He's got his mother, a couple of buddies, some girls, and he's telling a story. You can tell, just as I walk up, I can't even hear anything yet, that they are in rapture with this story going. See, Joey's been shot in the leg. Joey is a cross between Eric Cartman and Vanilla Ice. Very white, doesn't know it. You would think he's educated. Lives in a very nice, posh neighborhood, I found out. House range, probably $500,000 to $750,000 for each house. A hell of a lot more than I can live in. And he's sitting there, and this is Joey. So man, I was just standing there on the corner, and those bangers rolled by in the Escalade, and they just started talking some smack, so I talked smack back, and they started busting cats at me, and I dodged left, and I dodged right. I rolled up, I bounced off the walls, and I take it to them! And those fools drove off, but they fired some rounds, and pumped me on my leg.
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay. And of course his mom's going, baby, I'm sorry. Oh, you're so brave. The girls are like, yeah, you're brave. That's awesome. And the guys are like, yeah, man, let's go kill it. Let's go bust some cat. And all these guys are in like penny loafers, Levi's, and Old Navy jackets. All right. So I walk up, I shoo all them out, and I talk to Joey for about 45 minutes. He tells me the same story. Not quite as much flair, but tells me the story. That shot in the leg. 3 or 4 Hispanic males in an Escalade. Shot him in the leg, then drove off. For no apparent reason. One of the first things as an interrogator I do is I try to figure out why you're lying. Most people lie. There's 6 common reasons. But the most common is what we all started lying about. Did you get the cookies out of the cookie jar? What's the answer?
Yes.
Why do we lie? To avoid the consequences of our actions. Almost across the board, that's why people lie. To avoid the consequences of our actions. But this really didn't make sense. I could tell Joey was lying to me. But I couldn't figure out why would he be lying if he was shot in the leg by some bangers in an Escalade. It just didn't make sense to me. After about 45 minutes, I figured out what really happened. Turns out Joey was driving around in his buddy's Camaro in the passenger seat. Joey's buddy had just bought a new gun. Joey, being a banger, decided he's gonna look at the gun. Bam! Joey shot himself in the leg. Joey was lying because he was embarrassed. Very confusing. Finally, Joey tells me the truth. Joey, did you shoot yourself in the leg? I said, okay. Now, I've told you several times, Joey, if you keep lying to me, I'm going to file a charge on you called false report to police. I've told you 45 minutes ago, before you took away 45 minutes of my life, that I'll never get back, then just tell me the truth now. I'll walk out that door, and you can tell your friends whatever you want. Obviously, you already have. But he kept lying to me, lying to me, lying to me. Finally, I said, okay, I know what happened, you know what happened. Yeah, you're right the whole time. I shot myself in the leg. I said, okay, are you gonna put charges on me? I said, you know, Joey, I don't know. If you get all of those friends in the waiting room back in here and tell them the truth, I promise you, I will not file charges on you. File the damn charge. Thank you, that's my story. Apartment complex caters to a unique group of people who don't like cops. Door opens. Woman is 5'4", 385 pounds. naked. Visualize, please, with me. Close your eyes. 5'3", 5'4" tops, 385 pounds, naked, straight, long, jet black hair, with the sheen of something oily. Okay? She goes, whoop. I said, hello, Officer Cripp and Austin, please slam. Slam the door in my face. Well, I just say it right.
He's on his way. For sure.
She opens the door. I'll wrap this up.
He's in the golf cart.
Nice.
On his way.
Nice. So I open the door. She opens it again. I step in. We have a discussion. This discussion involves her grabbing me, screaming, Jesus, Lord, save me! Lucifer's in my house! Satan has come to attack me! Jesus, Lord, save me! At this point, she grabs me by my vest. If you ever seen police officers, we have a bulletproof vest. It's very rigid. She grabs it and pulls me into the house. I fall. She falls on top. And I'm like, the oily, greasy hair of this naked woman is in my face, slapping me like this. She's screaming at me with this spittle in my eyes. I'm screaming like a very brave 8-year-old. And my backup finally arrives, and they come running in, and the door's kind of shut, so they kick the door open. I'm on the ground, on my back. Large naked woman on top. They kick over the door, and they, all right, we got back over. Dude. And I'm like, get her off me. So they go to grab her. Sweat.
Oh.
Oil. Could they grab her?
No.
I'm trying to push her off of me. My hands are sliding off. She's trying to smack me in the face, calling me the devil. Finally, I think my team has come to save me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome.
I'm going to spare you all these note cards in the introduction because, let's face it, Kilmer needs no introduction. So I would just like to invite you all to head to the microphone for any questions that you might have. And we appreciate that. For the members of our audience who might have questions for you, though, we'd ask that you line up.
She had a question.
And while we're doing that, Mr. Kilmer, if we could ask you to tell us about your latest project, Citizen Tween.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming. I met each and every one of you earlier. The Citizen Twain is a play that I've written about Mark Twain that I'm going to be touring around. Hopefully here next year. And it's about Mark Twain. I've written a movie about Mark Twain and Mary Baker Eddy, who was a woman that he was obsessed with the last about 10 years of his life. She started a religion, and hopefully it's funny. I know the play's funny. Did everyone here read Huckleberry Finn? You have to, right? Tom Sawyer? He's dead, but I'm sure he appreciates the applause. That's why I started to play. I'm very old and drunk, and I said, please forgive me if you're having trouble hearing me in the back. I'm dead.
Do we have any questions?
Any questions? No.
Absolutely no questions. There we go. Go ahead, sir.
Tombstone was my favorite movie of all time. I loved you in that movie.
Thank you.
And could you tell me what you did, or what you based your character Doc Holliday on, as far as like the talking, the way he walked, and things like that?
Well, The first thing I did was to call well, I think he's the best dialect coach in the world. He used to do lots and lots of theater, and now he does lots and lots of movies. I think he's done every Martin Scorsese picture since before Kundun. He's really a great guy named Tim Monick. I called him up, I said, I need a dialect of a Southern aristocrat that's, is dead because they all died in the Civil War. He goes, I got it. I said, no, let me go on. He goes, no, I got it. And he sent me a tape. I'll try and do it without laughing. This is how this guy talked for real. Tim, it's wonderful that you've asked me to visit today. It was so slow that, first of all, just everything he said was hilarious. Just because when you talk that slower, everything's just funny. But he was a socialite and a big guy in the theater from Georgia. And that's where I just started just listening to this one tape all the time. I've got a lot of relatives from the South, and so I talked to other relatives still living about what things they remembered, and then I had a lot of horses at the time, and a really good horse trainer that was just oddly a historian about riding, because the military posture back then, there was a very specific way that they rode, which is really strange. They didn't move with the horse so much. So like on a jump, you see a lot of old paintings, and they look like it's a bad painting because they're so rigid, but it's actually how they were taught to ride. So little tiny things like that made him just always different than, your average guy out west. And then a lot of things that usually with the role, especially when it's well written, it's sort of all in the writing. He was very funny and mean, and funny and mean. So.
Well, what was it like working with that cast because there was everything from people that were already big stars to people that were on their way up to becoming big stars?
Yeah, that was a testimony to the writer again, Kevin Jarre, because there were, I think, 8 or 10 of the guys in it have already been leads in movies, big movies, and it's just because the westerns are so rare, and which is odd because everybody always loves them, but then they just, Hollywood, unless they've just been a hit, then they just say no one will go, and then another hit comes along and everybody goes. But it was a lot of fun, except pretty early on we had lots of drama because the director was the writer, and he was a brilliant writer, and then he had nothing left to direct with. He just didn't have a flair for that job. So everybody knew. I remember the first shot. I was on a horse with Kurt Russell. He's wired.
Name drop it.
Name drop it. Marlon Brando. He wasn't in that movie. But I personally watched him eat a turkey one night.
A whole turkey? Yeah.
I was smoking at the time when he was bitching at me eating, and I said, "You just ate a whole turkey." He's sucking on the bones. But yeah, Kurt, after the first shot, he turned to me and goes, do you, like he was stuttering, and he was a very articulate guy, and I'm like, yeah, I think maybe we got a problem. The very first shot, the way he put the camera was just off. But it all worked out in the end. George Cosmatos, who had never done a picture with so much dialogue, he came in one weekend and took over, and it all turned out.
It's such a great movie.
I just can't think past me. Drawings, I've seen cartoons, but you mean in the movies? No, I can't think of it.
those other guys?
I never thought about it. I guess Christian Bale.
That's great.
You know, he's such an interesting actor. You know? But he talks funny. Doesn't he? It's a kind of an odd Batman voice. But they're all laughing all the way to the bank, right? All the way to the bank.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just had a quick question about your experience with Ghost in the Darkness. It's probably one of my favorite movies. I thought you did a great job.
Oh, thanks.
Kind of what that was like, you know, filming in Africa and working with Kirk Douglas.
Well, I used to go to Africa 2 or 3 times a year in the 80s into the 90s, so I had a lot down south, after a while mainly down south, so I had a lot of friends in South Africa, and just because of the economics of filmmaking, they moved the story, which is a Kenyan-Uganda story, down to South Africa, so and with my friends, we always go to out of the parks, try to get to places that were still actually wild, and it was going fast back then. It's all gone now, but private land or public land you could drive through where there were still wild animals that were not fenced, and this was like a secret reserve for rhino. And secret because if it were known that there were, I don't know how many they had, 30 or 40 rhino, then they all would have been poached. So that was maybe the most fun I've ever had driving to work. Because I'd be late and have to call on the radio, I can't, there's a rhino in the road. That was pretty weird. Because I lived on the reserve. And it was great fun. I loved it. I always wanted to work with Michael Douglas because he's got such a great story as an actor. You know, he used to, actually the first time I met him, Oliver Stone, I don't remember why, because it was at night, it was some black tie thing, but he was sweating. I was part of the story. He used to sweat a lot at night back then. But he was like, you gotta talk to Michael, you gotta talk to Michael. And he was really happy, but I could tell Michael wasn't happy because he's like, tell him about me. So Michael Douglas pulls me aside and says, he's the only, you have to be Oliver Stone. Sweat. He's like, he's the only man besides my father that ever made me cry. I kept thinking, why does Oliver want me to know this? It's so weird. But Michael had, you know, loved his father like everybody in all his movies, but especially this play that he did, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So he worked for 18 years to make it into a film, and so I just love that story because it's a testimony. It's such a brilliant movie, and it's so hard to. It proves that you just have to keep working at it. I've been working on this Mark Twain and Mary Vickeretti movie for 10 years now. Not trying to sell it and not being able to, just working on the script. One big influence is the Amadeus, the story of Mozart. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That guy, brilliant playwright, wrote the movie, but there's I can't remember now, something like 120 drafts of the script. Even though he already, you know, it was a big smash around the world and as a piece of theater. It's a tricky business, writing a good screenplay. Thank you.
Hi, did you?
What?
Did you enjoy playing Batman, and did you make friends with
Can't
the
stay mad at you.
cast? Did you enjoy playing Batman, being friends with the cast, and how was it to work with Jim Carrey?
He was so great. He's exactly what you want Jim Carrey to be, except it was a tough time for him because he just lost his father. And he'd read somewhere, or I told him, I can't remember, that I started Tombstone about, I don't know, a week after my father died, so he just wanted to talk about it. So that's sort of the basis of our friendship, which is quite, the movie as you can imagine, a very surreal experience anyway, because this would have been like my bedroom, a room this size. The sets are so huge. And so like when we went, it was a scene in Gotham City, it was built. Lots and lots of real sets. And like the Batmobile and the technicians and artisans were just brilliant. So everything was just the highest quality, really brilliant designs, and so great because they've kept that up. It's just so great to watch it.
Did you like wearing the costume? Was it hard to put
No,
on?
No, be honest.
even you wouldn't enjoy that costume. There's about 148 in there. You can only wear it for about a little bit under an hour, and then you just stop. I used to try to figure it out, like what is this like? Because it was sort of familiar, and what it turned out was that, see if you can guess, I'll do it in reverse. If you need help going to the bathroom, and you talk and nobody answers you, and you can't hear anymore, and if you see a coffee cup spilling, your arm goes out but you can't reach it, and you need help getting up, and you need help getting dressed, what is that? Old age. When you wear the bat suit, you're old. There's no surprises for me now. That's what it's like.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the toughness of the movement was because of its design. And it was very expensive, and then the guy, quite a famous designer, it's a brilliant thing to look at, but you just, at least back then, couldn't move in it.
You never would have known. Okay, next question.
Hi, I'm a really big fan of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh, thank you.
And I was just wanting to know, what was it like to kiss Robert Downey Jr.?
He's so sexy. Well, his wife produced it. And so I thought, I think I've kissed, it's a pretty good list. Colin Farrell, kissed him, but he was my son, and I was dying. And Robert Downey Jr. Those are the two guys I've kissed in a movie. One guy in a play once. But it was kind of weird because suddenly he was like a teenager, because he's not. It wasn't even like he's got to kiss a guy. He's got to kiss someone else in front of his wife. So it was kind of weird. But if you watch the DVD, watch the bloopers at the end, because this is one of my big memories in it. Robert Downey Jr. saying, "Okay, do it again," because I would blow take after take because I was laughing all the time. Because he's so smart, and as you can imagine, he's just so clever. Like, it doesn't matter what happens, he's got an answer for it. But this guy's kind of dumb. So to see him with that face, like he doesn't quite understand what's happening, every day for months was just hilarious. Plus I got to tell him to shut up like 4 or 5 times a night, It was so much fun.
Thank you.
I would like to do that again. But they didn't ask me to be an Iron Man. It's the guy that wrote that, Shane Black. It's a great script. He's made lots of contemporary classics. He's the new, I think he wrote it too, the new director for Iron Man.
Did you enjoy working on the Saints?
I'm not done bitching about them not hiring. Yes, I did. It was a lot of fun.
Would you ever do a sequel to it?
I've been thinking about that. I would love to. I even asked the studio once, but they said no. But maybe I'll go back now that the person running it's no longer running it. I love playing the characters and people like that, and it's weird because I love women, but I made very few love stories, and that's, it's a love story, adventure love story. But I had a great time with Elizabeth Shue, and I think it would make a good. I came up with one that there was a caper in the Mideast, like there was a poison that you put into oil, so oil would go bad. So that's the terrorist plot, that there's a threat, like give us all the money or we'll make the oil go bad.
Whichever
They're
plays,
giving it away now.
whichever goes into another superhero movie.
Sure. Yeah.
Iron Man.
Iron Man, yeah.
Thanks.
You only have to go to work like every 6 weeks because the mask is...
Hi, Mr. Kilmer.
Hi.
Hi. I also love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's surprising it's the only movie you can see Batman kiss Iron Man. I've been following your
That's a
career.
sequel. Bruce Wayne has a new ward.
Yes. Anyway, I followed your career ever since Top Gun. Actually Top Secret. All the way through Knight Rider, where you voiced Kid. Is there any character that you played that really sticks with you? Out of all the characters that you played?
Well, I think it'd be fun to do a prequel to Doc Holliday because he was just so much fun and tragic, and I love the West. So I sometimes I think about that. I was real happy when I died in The Doors. It was fun to make it.
When that character's supposed to die?
Yeah. Very unhappy guy. I did Hamlet on stage years ago, and I remember every night I'd have to roll upstage so you couldn't see me because I was smiling like an idiot. So happy to be dead. That's a long time.
All right, thank you very much.
All right.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
I know that you were contractually obligated to be in Top Gun, and supposedly you didn't really want to be in it. That's what it says on IMDb trivia.
It's true. That's the only true thing on it. No, Wikipedia is always getting stuff wrong.
And I know that they're actually trying to get the sequel off the ground, but I don't know how that is after the Tony Scott situation. Would you be in the sequel, or would you make it again?
Gosh, so sad. He was the kindest, most generous director I ever worked with. He was, I still don't know what happened. I kind of hope that it was, I know he had a hip replacement. He was a real world-class athlete, rock climber, and been in multiple high-speed motorcycle accidents. One night, he didn't break anything, but he said, oh yeah, man, I was going 172 miles an hour. How do you not break anything? Go 172 miles an hour and fall off your bike. Yeah, he was really amazing. But yeah, I would love to. It is kind of interesting that the idea I pitched years ago, I read about recently, was what they seem to be doing.
I've heard different rumors back and forth, so...
Well, I don't know. I haven't read the script. But I have a call into Jerry Bruckheimer. But I like the idea of a dogfight. But, I have these prototype, at least in concept, jets that will go up out of the atmosphere and burn hydrogen. And I thought that would be fun, just a jet that turns into a spaceship, which is, I'm sure, inevitable. And that would be a fun way to use the story.
Kind of adventures things a whole lot there, too.
Yeah.
There's rumors on the internet, too, that the end of Top Gun would actually start World War III. Did you ever buy into that stuff?
The what?
If all the events at the end of Top Gun actually truly happened, it would start World War III.
That's probably true. Yes, all the unrest in the Mideast today, that's because of Top Gun. You've seen the film and you're mad as hell. Thank you.
Good day.
Hi.
Thank you for all your years of entertaining us. I have a geek question for you. Superpowers. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh. What's the most desirable thing? To fly? That would be good. To be invisible? That would be good in 10 minutes.
Thank you.
What else? What else? Mind reading. Yeah, that would be good.
I was a big fan of Thunderheart also. Any chance of you doing another role of that?
I would love to do that. That was great fun. Up there in the Badlands.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sam Shepard.
Thank you.
She doesn't like Sam Shepard.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
Hey, I was just had a quick question. Played a number of great roles and iconic characters throughout your careers. Has there been any roles that you may have passed on that you look back a couple years later like, really should have took that one, or I would have been great in it?
Well, yeah. But if I talk about it, it'd be rude to the actor that got the role. It's an awkward Iron Man. That's a great role, though, right? He's got all the money, go-go dancers, at work, and the guy from Coldplay's wife works for him.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah. There's one in particular sticks in my mind because I didn't think the story worked, and I won't tell you what it is because it would be rude to the actor. But the story stops in the middle of it and becomes another guy's story, and I just didn't. That just never works in the movies, and it really worked. You have to figure out what that is.
Well, thank you.
I could say it's so long ago. Why would Russell Crowe care? He got a couple Oscars, right? Yeah. It was the Insider. Yeah. I love Michael Mann. That was fun doing Heat. I have a good sequel to Heat. Yeah, I find out Pacino's retiring, and I go and I just torture him in Chicago. Like in his apartment when he comes home, I'm like, yeah, you killed my best friend. I'm gonna make you pay.
You got
Can't
that.
catch me. Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
I have a real quick question for you about the best movie ever made, Tombstone.
Oh.
At the end, like right before you die, and you look down at your feet and you say, "That's funny." What's so funny?
That I didn't die with my boots on. You're supposed to die with your boots on.
Okay.
That's a real quote.
Really?
I don't know who was there and wrote it down, but I say that's really what he said.
Oh, okay. All right,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
I love the line in that where someone says to him, Doc, why are you here? Why are you doing this? Something to that extent. And he said, well, he's my friend.
Yeah. He says, I got lots of friends. And then
He says,
Doc
I don't.
says, I don't.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so great. Go ahead, sir.
First of all, I just want to say Chris Knight was my role model in high school, so thank you very much for teaching us.
Did you graduate?
Eventually worked out.
I have a good idea for a sequel for that, too. He improved Velcro or something, so he's really got lots of dough, and he's a teacher now. Wouldn't that be good? He's goofing around on campus, but now he's a teacher.
But you've had some amazing roles. Salt and Sea, how much work did you have to put into that character before you started filming, and was that hard?
Well, it was hard because it's like a Hamlet story. He's chasing a ghost, kind of, and a revenge story. And then he just gets all messed up in the world of the enemy, which is a really interesting idea. And I really regretted suggesting all those tattoos about halfway through. At the time, now they do them really fast because the tattoos are so popular, but back then it would take like 3.5 hours. But it's not just 3.5 hours, it's 3.5 hours with like fire ants, like because they really did that. Just do that on your own back for an hour and see. Yeah, it was a good story though. Yeah. Was there a question?
That actually was the question, but there was also just thank you so much for
thanks.
the huge contribution you've made. So many great stories over the years. Thank you.
We may have time for one more question. Go ahead. Come on to the microphone. Otherwise, I was going to ask my question, but I think I'm going to get to it. Go ahead.
Thanks a lot for all the movies you've been in. Batman Forever was, up until like the Christopher Nolan movies, it was my favorite actually.
Thanks. They're very good movies. I like that motorcycle.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Is it that cycle?
I noticed that you would actually, before you worked with Michael Goff as Alfred, you actually had worked with him previously in Top Secret. So
Yes.
did you remember that, and did you guys talk about that at all?
No, I completely forgot it, which was a really rough, embarrassing day. It's like, Val, and I'm like, get the old man away from me. Of course I remember him. It was great fun.
Again, thank you.
All right.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
Where were you?
20 minutes ago.
What? Oh, was I late? Tell me.
It was worth the
Tell me
wait.
I was late.
Oh, it was totally worth the wait.
Sorry, I'm late.
See, you didn't even know.
They just knocked on the door, so we're ready, and they came. I thought you meant like for the last 10 years. I've been writing this movie about very hard
He already told you.
movie, yeah. But I hopefully it will be worth the wait. He's such a great character, Mark Twain. He really, if you think about the story of the United States and how dynamic our nation is and how glorious and tragic, there is no one that you can come up with that's a better narrator. You know, you kind of think of other comedians just because, you know, we want to laugh our way through all these wars and describing it. But he's really immediately in the top 5 because he loves everybody. And usually, especially politicians, you think of great minds that are architects or forefathers. There's some sort of feeling you could imagine of them trying to sell a particular point of view, you know, from being liberal or.
Ohio's 501st Legion, Vader's Hand, if memory serves, who is now offering free coloring pages. Note, if you ever think these are not the droids you're looking for, this will be your job.
What are you driving at? How about a black Green Lantern? Black? He could be Chinese. If you want to make him Chinese, fine. I don't care.
I'm laughing more than anybody. I've got that Seth MacFarlane t-shirt of a big old fat Superman with the S on it. I wear it. I'm not going to lie. I don't wear it in public because...
You've never heard of the movie, or you've never heard of the car? You've never heard of the movie? And Lord, that's a science fiction